What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another Saturday group here with Parham, hosted on Buckeye Recovery Network's Facebook, YouTube, and wherever heck else you're watching this. I'm really looking forward to another opportunity to be here with you and hopefully provide a little bit of information, wisdom, knowledge that may or may not help you in your healing, recovery, or transformation journey, yet to be revealed. So, quick introduction about myself and what we do here. So my name is Parham. We do this each and every single Saturday for the most part. Like next week, I don't know if I'll be here, but after that I will. And I do about like 46 of these a year. And if you ever miss me live, you can go to our YouTube and watch 4 years worth of recorded live videos are all there for you. You can see me in my different various forms and different ways I looked. But I do have a master's degree in marriage and family therapy. I'm a licensed addictions counselor, a high school basketball coach, a college professor, pickleball obsessive, and more importantly, I believe in one thing and one thing only, and that is the possibility of human transformation. Okay, I believe that all human beings, including each and every single one of you watching this right now, have the ability to transform who you are, how you live, what you do in any given moment that you choose to in life. I sincerely mean that from the bottom of my heart. And that is why I do this, because of that belief. So all that being said, last week we had a talk on the characteristics of Olympians. And I think it was a really appropriate talk given the at the time, the upcoming Olympics. But here's the thing. It already started. So if you didn't have a chance to watch the opening ceremony from last night, I strongly suggest you give it a little look. It's 4 hours long, so be that as it may, you'll fast forward through some parts, but it was just done a little bit differently. And the reason why I suggest people to watch opening ceremony, it is probably one of the only times in the world that the entire world comes together in a peaceful demonstration that shows that we can all cooperate with each other in close proximity and get along. And it was just like it was so cool because normally the Olympic Games they're in like stadiums and all that kind of stuff, but they were able to do the whole parade in the middle of the city and in beautiful river and underneath the Eiffel Tower, and it just like whatever Paris has always been worked up to be, they captured it really well in that moment. So what I want to do is in that spirit of the Olympics, I started thinking to myself, okay, what can I talk about today that will capture what's going on with that, but also more importantly, help human beings in their life. Okay, so if you don't know what we do here, this channel is for anybody who firsthand or secondhand has experienced any type of pain as a result of addictions, mental illness, trauma, and grief and loss. So if that's you, welcome. If that's someone you love, welcome. But so if you're thinking, well, what is the Olympics and what does Michael Phelps have to do with why I'm here? Maybe my loved one's struggling with something and I'm having a hard time managing my emotions. Like, what is sports and Olympics going to do for me? See, you're looking at it from the wrong perspective. Because when somebody is able to do the things that Michael Phelps did, and by the way, why is he the greatest of all time? For those of you who don't know, he won a total of 28 Olympic medals. 23 of the 28 were gold medals. 3 were silver, 2 were bronze. And to win 23 gold medals, you got to put it into like perspective. The people he's competing against for 4 years or for 8 years, every single day, they went and go train. They train. They work hard. They sacrifice. They diet. They rest. They give up, precious moments of their life with the intention of beating him. Yet they couldn't do it. No matter what they did, they couldn't do it. So does that make him like physically gifted, special, all that stuff? Potentially. But guess what? What I get curious about is what's going on inside his mind. What kind of a mindset does this guy have? And then I started thinking, okay, life for all of us, this thing called life is kind of like a performance. It's our game. If you want to succeed at this thing called life, if you want to succeed with your mental health, with your addictions, with your recovery, it's not just being someone that can do it. Maybe there's a mindset associated to working through it. And what better way or what better person to look into the highest achieving, elite, performing mindset than the greatest Olympian of all time. So what we're going to do in today's talk is we are going to go through 9 or 10 quotes by Michael Phelps that he's shared firsthand, and we're going to see how we can apply that to the recovery process. I know none of you are getting in the pool and swimming against, 100 different countries. I know that's not what you're here for. You're here because you want to go from where you are in life to where you want to be, and you might not know how to get there. Well, let's follow the footsteps, and let's take some words of wisdom, and let's learn some life lessons from the greatest of all time. So all that being said, and by the way, whoever said hi, hello, this is fully interactive, so I could put up, comments and stuff like that. Whenever you say something, I can put them up on the board. You can ask questions. You can do whatever you got to do. But let's get into it, my friends. The very first quote that we have goes a little something like this. It says, the only thing that's common to all successful people, they make a habit of doing things that unsuccessful people don't like to do. Okay? So, you think of it this way. You want to succeed in your recovery. You want to succeed at work. You want to succeed in your relationship. And you look around and the experience you have is not successful. The feeling you have is not successful. Yet there's people out there that are succeeding at what it is that you're doing. Is it because they're just different than you? They're more special? They're smarter? Absolutely not. They are just willing to do things that you are not willing to do. It's whenever. So for example, you guys know I like to say in like top physical shape. Something I do. And it's not just like an aesthetic vanity thing. I do it for my mind. The healthier the body is, the healthier my mind is. And sometimes people, they look at me and say, oh, you're just so lucky. You can eat whatever you want and nothing ever sticks to you. If I eat just this much, it shows up in my body. I'm like, bro, you are not willing to do the things that I'm willing to do. You are not willing to make the sacrifices. You're not willing to put in the work. You're not willing to do the diet, the mindset, the rest, the recovery. You're just not willing to do it. It ain't about my, genetics or metabolism. And people just think that when you give an out like that, oh, that person's just different. They're just special. You'd be surprised how many of us are exactly the same way. Just some people are willing to do things that other people aren't willing to do. Some people are willing to go to therapy and really get honest, and some people aren't. Some people are willing to go to the doctor and get test results and do something with those test results, and some people aren't. Some people are willing to wake up at 4:35 in the morning to work out in the morning because they know they're not going to have time later in the afternoon. Some people are willing to give up the things they want to eat because they want to improve their overall health, and some people aren't. See, the people that do things are just willing to do things that some people aren't willing to do. Same thing applies to recovery. Same thing applies to life. So that's the quote I love from Michael Phelps. The next one we got here from Mr. Michael Phelps is things. This is really good for us in the recovery world, by the way. So it says, things won't go perfect. It's all about how you adapt from those things and learn from mistakes. So, newsflash. Life ain't never going to go as planned. You know what do they say? Every time a man makes plans, God laughs. Let's just say it's safe to say that nothing is ever going to go exactly as planned. It's for all of us, myself included. There will be some blind twists and turns, some unexpected events, some moments that you just think everything's falling together and all of a sudden it just falls apart. It's not unique to you. You're not unlucky. It happens to all of us. But here's the thing. Based on the champion, Michael Phelps, it says it's not about that. It's about how you adapt to that, how you roll with the resistance, how you adjust to those changes. Like if you're in crisis right now in your world, if you're experiencing some type of pain, some type of moment that's monumental, how will you adapt and adjust to it? How will you shift gears? What will you do differently in order to navigate through it? Because it's happening to everybody. You know, there's this video that I used to show that I love so much, and it's like, it's a video from the Cleveland Hospital, you know, the Cleveland Clinics, which is, you know, a big hospital. And it just has these little thought bubbles above everyone's head. And it says what they're thinking about and what they're going through. You know, some people are like anxious because the doctor is going to give them some results. Some people are happy because the doctor just gave them good results. Some people are in there because, you know, they're struggling because they don't have insurance for their thing. And some people over there are just, you know, sitting in their kid's room because they don't know if the kid's going to wake up from a coma. And some people are going home wondering, what am I going to make dinner for? And all these thought bubbles are going on in people's minds. We're all going through something. Don't ever fool yourself thinking that someone else is lucky and they don't have anything going on in their life and you have all the bad cards. We're all going through something. How you adapt to what it is you're going through, that's where champions are made. That's where champions are made. What do we got here, Jim? Ryan Stevens. Hey, good to see you, man. Always a pleasure. You are the see, when I say I do this because of the possibility of human transformation, that is what I'm talking about. Man, talk about transformation. Jim said expectations in life are not going to pay off with the peace and serenity you might be looking for. Absolutely. What is there? Our serenity in our level of expectations, they're a zero sum. The higher the expectations, the lower the serenity. And the higher your serenity, the lower the expectations. Your choice. So the next one we have here from Mr. Michael Phelps says, it doesn't matter what else is going on. When you walk into your arena or whatever you excel at, you're going to take care of the job that you have to do. So you all have things going on. Okay, I just said this to our client, to our program participants. I said, you are here for a reason. I'm not talking about life. I'm talking about you are in sober living. You are in treatment for a reason right now. And yes, there are things going around you that are very distracting. You have parents that are scared. You have siblings that are sad. You have courts that are, you know, putting legal stuff on you. You have creditors calling you, this and that. You can go hyper focus on all that, or you can focus at the task at hand. You know, the best example I can give here for you to understand is, imagine being a performer, an athlete, and the game's going on in front of you on the field or on the court, and you're just focused on the stands. You're just paying attention to everything but the game. That's how some of you live your life, by the way. Some of you focus on people, places, and things that are not related to your life, wondering why you are losing at the game of life. I mean, think about it. You're in your own life. You're in your own world. And instead of looking and seeing what's in front of you, instead of seeing where you are, instead of experiencing, you know, your world, you hyper focus on people, places, and things that have zero to no relevance to your life, to your future, to your goals, to your dreams, to the quality of it. You want to know why we do that? Because it's freaking easier. It's easier to focus on them and not focus at you. Man, what a cop-out. Can you imagine being in like the Olympics and losing and the coach says, what happened? Oh, I was just staring at the stands. I forgot to play because I was just focused on the crowd. Oh, man. Isn't that funny? And then we get pissed off that we don't get the things we want. It's so crazy. So the next one we have here is Michael Phelps said, I think goals should never be easy. They should force you to work, even if they are uncomfortable at the time. He says, I think goals. I'm going to take it one step further, Mr. Michael Phelps. I'm going to say, I know goals should never be easy. You know, one thing that it always resonates in my mind, and I always think about actively, I'm not saying like I sometimes think about it every day, is the following. If your dreams don't scare you, they are not big enough. If your dreams don't scare you, they aren't big enough. How many of you live lives of small dreams? How many of you live lives of no dreams? Man, that should scare the hell out of you. That should scare you. I like to dream big, lofty, grandiose. However, I'm not delusional. I know if I make a big dream, then that means I might take big action. I have to take massive action. I know I have to be intentional and deliberate with what it is that I'm trying to do. If you want to get improved relationship, if you want to have a healthy, loving relationship with people in your life that are just completely effed up right now, you think it just happens because you kind of want that? Man, you have to work at it. You have to work on your own understanding your own emotional process. You have to understand about recognizing your emotions, working through discomfort. You have to learn about communication skills. You have to learn about effective communication skills. You have to learn about boundaries. You have to learn about crisis intervention. And once you learn all that, now you're able to potentially be a good communicator. Just randomly, you think it's like, oh, everything's gonna get good someday. Man, I'm telling you, man, if it was easy, everyone would do it. If it was easy to win 23 gold medals, then everyone would have 23 gold medals. There's only one person that has it, Michael Phelps. What does he do differently? That's the question. Some people just say, oh, he's just gifted. Novak Djokovic, which is a really, famous tennis player that I really like. I saw an interview on him, and this guy was like, he's like, hey, you have this gift. Your mindset is a gift. And he said, I'm going to stop you right there. My mindset is not a gift. I work at it every single day. Every single day. As hard as I work on my body, my nutrition, my diet, I work on my mind. And the guy's like, oh, because people that don't have certain things in life, they just think other people are gifted. I always see it as like a musician or singer, or someone's like, oh, that person's so gifted. Man, the guy's practicing like 8 hours a day. Do they have some original gift to begin with? Yeah. I mean, that's why they're doing what they're doing. But people just aren't willing to put in the work. It's I had a client come up to me and said, how do you speak so much without notes and just keep talking? He's like, you just have the gift of gab. I'm like, no, man. Like when I was first doing this, I would have to read off pieces of paper because I was terrified of not knowing what to say. The first time I ever did a lecture group in my life was supposed to be 2 hours at a DUI school. After 30 minutes, I ran out of content and let the class out. The next day, my boss called me and said, I watched the videos. You let the class out an hour and a half early. I said, I didn't know what else to say. I don't think I could do this. She said, you got to do it again. Next time I was like, 50 minutes. And I was like, I can't do this. Now I can talk for 36 hours straight without a break. But I'm telling you, it takes time. It took me about, 6 or 7 years of doing this 4 times a week to finally be able to catch a cadence, to be able to catch a flow. So please. And one of my goals is one day I want to be a traveling speaker, motivational speaker that goes all over the country and has seminars. And my visual is like, 2,500 people is what I want it to be. So you think I could just randomly roll up to a place like that and be like, oh, there's 2,500 people here. I'm going to entertain them for 8 hours. I got to be so ready. And by the way, that dream at some point scared me. I'm like, man, this is scary. How am I going to get people to show up? Dream the dream, speak it into existence, take the action to make it come true. That's how it all works. Always has, always will. So hopefully this is some value for you. The next one we have here is so many people along the way, whatever it is, aspire to do, will tell you it can't be done. But all it takes is imagination, your dream, your plan, you reach. So that's the one thing is be really wary and cautious of people who put down your dream. And I know some moms and dads right now are hating this because their kid tells them they want to do something. Like, oh, it's a bad idea. It's too risky. I think it's just safer for them to go get a business degree. Whenever someone tells you that what you want to do is not a good idea, I mean, sometimes it might be a bad idea, but if it's like a career that you're passionate about, if they say it's not a good idea, it has nothing to do with you. It has to do with their own fears and their own insecurities, their own inability to pursue their own goals and their own dreams. And now they just want to project it onto someone else. Whenever someone, let's say I have like an artistically talented or like musically talented kid, a young adult comes and says, my whole life I wanted to just go do something in music or do something in film. But my family says a bad idea, so I never did it. And I always say, okay, so why do you want to do it? And they're like, because I love it, because I'm passionate about it. I'm like, you know what, dude? Go do it. And, you talk to the parent, like, did you tell them to go pursue a career in music? Right? I'm like, dude, the kid's passionate. They love it. They're going to show up. They're going to be enthusiastic. But it's impossible to become an actor. It's like, okay, Steve, okay, lady, okay, Marge, Margaret. Listen, man. Listen, lady. There are 4,000 careers in the filming industry. There are 4,000 ways to be in the music industry. If someone's passionate, why not have them go do something they're good at and they love to do? Why does it have to be accounting? Because it's safe? Because you're afraid that one day they may or may not be able to sustain their life and you're stuck with them for the rest of your life? Man, let them go do their thing. People that get in the way of other people's dreams, man, they're such just terrified of life. You know? And it's imagination. You got to be able to imagine your life in a way that you want it to be. You know, I always like to look at myself, 5 years, 10 years down the line. I like to look at what I look at, what I sound like, what I'm doing, the world that I have, the world that I don't have. And then once I crystallize it and it becomes like this vision that is like as real as this moment, it's just in my mind. And then each and every day I reimagine it. And each and every day I make sure I take steps that gets me closer to that dream coming true. Like the other day I was saying something to my parents and like they started laughing. They're like, this guy's crazy, or my aunt. And here's what I said, because I have this goal that 10 years from now I'm going to become a senior pro. 50 years old, you could be a senior pro. I'm going to be a senior pro singles pickleball champion. I will be. And then I even went one step further and I said, I already am. It's already happened. Just the moment hasn't arrived yet. So in my mind, this is so crystal clear that it's already happened. I already know that just the moment that it does happen just hasn't arrived yet. And some people might say, well, oh man, that's great. I hope it happens. I'm like, no, it's already happened. So now when I put it out that way, I have this 9 or 10 year goal. If every day I'm not doing something severely, intensely focused on that becoming reality, it never will become reality. See, that's the thing. You can visualize it, but if your day-to-day actions aren't congruent with your dream, it'll never come true. But I know if I do what I have to do on a daily basis, that day is inevitable, along with every other goal in life. And, this stuff that I'm talking about, people think it's like wishy-washy or like hippie or this and that, like manifestation. Man, it's been around for thousands of years. And if you just read the autobiography of famous people or watch some interviews, you'll quickly realize that all of them have hacked this visualization trick. Seeing yourself in a certain way and then doing what needs to be done to make that vision become a reality. What do we got here? Jim, Hossein, prioritize your life ahead of anything else. Jim, if you say it can't be done, then it won't get done. Absolutely. What do we got here? Alan, late, but good morning from Oklahoma. Good. Anytime you said you're on, this is a good thing. So I'm happy you're here. Now, this next one I think is really applicable to us in the recovery world. And it says, if you're tired, you feel you can't move, you're truly hurting, that's when you throw down, especially the hard sets. So some of you have been doing this for a little bit. And it's been a long journey. And you're tired. And you're over it. You've been going on this path. And you've come to the turning point. You've come to the fork in the road. You got tired psychologically, emotionally, physically. One option is to turn left and just say you did your best. Or the other option is to double down on why you started in this moment. Find the energy, the enthusiasm, the motivation to continue going forward. Because, my friends, these two roads will lead to completely different destinations. The destination you've been wanting to go to is ahead of you. If you churn and give up right now, when I know you're so tired and you want to, you will never, all the work you did will go to waste. You're never going to get there. And you might think to yourself, but I just can't do it. I'm too tired. This is when it counts. This is what separates people that can and people that don't. This is what separates people that succeed and people that fail. It's this moment, the fork in the road where everyone gives up. Can you continue to move forward? You might be dealing with trauma. You might be dealing with grief and loss. You might be dealing with addictions, with mental health. You might be dealing with a breakup. This is the moment when you don't want to do it anymore. Can you find the strength to continue moving forward? That's what separates champions. That's probably what separated Michael Phelps from everyone else. You don't think all those people were just as physically gifted and talented and fit as this guy? You don't think they put in the same, pretty much give or take, hours on the pool? Yeah. What was the difference? They got to a point that they just slowed down and gave up, and this guy doubled down. He just took it to another level. That's the magic. Parham, mentally and physically a champion. Thank you, bro. So are you. The next one here, I think this is pretty much Jim said this one right now, but it's he said it in a different way. It says if you can't, you're restricting what you can do or ever will do. So that's what Michael Phelps said. It's if you can't, like if you say you can't do something, you're putting a limit. You're restricting on your future abilities. Henry Ford says, whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. And that's kind of like two school of thoughts. As soon as they are faced with something, some people say, I can't do it. And some people say, I can do it. Or some people say, I'm not sure I know how to do it yet, but I'm sure I can find out a way. That's kind of what I do. I will, man, it will take something for me to say I can't do something. It's got to be like, poof. I mean, there's a lot of things I don't want to do. I could probably do them, but I don't want to do them. It's a different story. But to give in and say I can't do something, that mindset of defeat just won't happen. But there is one place when we're not in our best self, when we are crippled by mental illness, when we're crippled by addictions, when we're crippled by the pain of grief and loss and our chest hurts and we don't have our power, it's okay to just raise the white flag and say, I can't do this. Someone please help me. I think that's cool, man. I can't do this. I can't do this on my own. But here's the thing. Once you regain yourself, once you recover from a seemingly hopeless state of mind and body, once you are back to your mental faculties, don't you ever say you can't do something ever again. See, that can't was needed because you needed to find yourself. But once you find yourself, there's nothing in the world you can't do. And yes, will life put you in those places again? Absolutely. But because you learned how to get out of it by reaching up and asking for help, by saying that you need support, you'll be able to do it again. Okay? So take can't out of your damn vocabulary. Take it out. The next one here is perseverance, determination, commitment, and courage. Those things are real. The desire for redemption drives you. So I just like that last sentence so much. The desire for redemption needs to be your driving force. See, if you've come to a point in your life that you've fallen down or you've given up or you've lost hope, man, I want to congratulate you because that's such a great place to be. Because I know for many of us, when we get to that point, at least for me, I got to this really dark place. It was horrible. Right? Like suicidal ideation, dark, substances, risky behavior, really bad, overwhelming feelings of shame and hatred and self-hatred and all that kind of stuff. And then one day I'm just like, man, this ain't the way the story goes. This is not the way the story's supposed to go. This is not the way it's supposed to go. And then I said, okay, I want to change it. I want something different. And I had a chance for redemption, to redeem myself, to create a new version of self. And those characteristics that it's, in that quote, I believe people in recovery have those. If you've gone through a lot of shit, man, you got perseverance, you got determination, you got commitment, you absolutely have courage. But now what are you going to do with all those? Because if you're not going to use it in a redemption story, then you're just sitting on a gold mine and not using it. Please know the value of that stuff and use it. What do we got here? Jumping off point. Yep, that's what we call it. Can't get sober, can't get sober, can't get drunk. It's just a really bad place to be. And we have that in different places, by the way. It's for mental health, it can happen. For grief and loss, it can happen. You can't live with the person without the person. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that applies to that, but it's a really good place to be. Really, really is. Some people say they're grateful for the rock bottom because it became the foundation for them to be able to grow their life. That's a really nice way to put it also. So the very last one here, and again, this one's really appropriate. And if these are quotes by Michael Phelps, it says, "You can make a million mistakes, just not the same mistake, same one twice." And unfortunately, in the substance abuse and addiction and recovery world, this is a lesson that many people just don't want to accept, And you know what about the lessons of life? They will continue to reoccur. They will continue to repeat themselves. They will happen over and over and over again until you, the student, learns the lesson. When you learn the lesson that you need to learn, it will no longer repeat itself. So it's not about life doing it to you. It's about you not learning the lesson. Please don't say, "Why does this keep happening to me?" You're not a victim of that stuff. If you're learning the same lesson over and over again, stop and say, "What is my part? What do I need to do different? What do I need to learn? What is this trying to teach me? What do I need to work on to learn this lesson?" Some people do, and some people don't. Why? I have no freaking idea. Yep, making the same mistake over and over again. It's a part of life, unfortunately. Some people do, some people don't. And so, in conclusion, let me put this thing away. I put this away. Okay. So in conclusion today, we use the Olympic spirit that's going on right now. We highlighted the greatest Olympian of all time, aka Michael Phelps. 28 medals, 23 gold, 3 silver, 2 bronze. What we did was we said, how is this human being able to do such an amazing task? It can't just be because he's a gifted athlete, because so are the other Olympians. What's special about his mind? And we went over 8, 10 quotes from Michael Phelps. And we didn't just apply them to the act of swimming inside of a pool, because only a few of us will ever do that, if any. We applied it to this game of life and trying to accomplish your personal, professional, communication, spiritual, financial, career goals, your recovery. How can you be a champion in the game of your life? And if you apply the things that we talked about on a consistent basis with enthusiasm, passion, and the belief that you can become a champion no matter what you do, I'm not going to say all of your goals and dreams will come true, but you will get a life much closer to the one that you've always wanted and dreamed of than the life you currently have. If that's not enticing enough for you, I don't know what is. All that being said, I love and appreciate all of you. I'm traveling. I'm going out of town and going to the Florida Keys. So you might not see me next week, but I will be back soon and we'll have a wonderful talk. Love and appreciate all of you. Have a wonderful week. Enjoy the Olympics. Adios.